Hello students, today we will be discussing about the crystal field theory. So the crystal field theory is actually an electrostatic model where the bond between the ligand and the metal is considered to be an ionic bond. The metal ligand bond in this theory is considered to be an ionic bond. Now when we take the case of a free metal ion, we know that in the case of a free metal ion, there are 5 degenerate d orbitals. What are the 5 degenerate d orbitals? dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square y square and dz square. In this case, the d orbitals are degenerate. Now, what do you mean by degeneracy or degenerate? That is, all the 5 orbitals will be having what? Will be having the same energy. So, we can say that in a free transition metal ions, all orbitals will have equal energy. Now again we can represent these orbitals as dxy, dyz, dzx, and you can say dx square, y square and dz square. Now you can see here when we are saying the dxy orbital, what is that? The lobes are lying between the axis, between the x and the y axis. The lobes of these d orbitals are lying. Similarly, in this case, the lobes are lying in between the yz, and in this case, the lobes are lying in between the zx. Whereas in the case of these two, dx square, y square and dz square, we can see that, what is that? In this case, the lobes are lying along the axis. In this case, the lobes are lying along the axis, whereas in these three cases, what is that? The lobes are lying in between the axis. The lobes are lying in between the axis. So these three, the lobes are lying in between the axis. Now let us take an example. We have taken an octahedral complex, or we can just take an example CO CN 6 times hexacyanocobaltate. Now in this case, what is that? You know that the metal orbital is having what? The metal orbital is having d orbitals. Now when the ligands approach the metal, when the ligands are approaching the metal ions, what is that? Electrons are there in this d orbitals of metal. Similarly, ligands also what? There are electrons. As a result of which, what will be occurring? As a result of which, repulsion will be occurring. And thus, due to this repulsion, what will have? The metal will lose its degeneracy. Metal will be losing its degeneracy due to what? Due to this repulsion. So when the metal loses its degeneracy, we can represent it like this. This is what? This is the d orbitals in the case of a free metal ion. D orbitals in the case of a free metal ion. Now when the ligands approach the metal ions, what will happen? We said that there will be a repulsion. Why there is a repulsion? There is a repulsion between the electrons of the metal and electrons of the ligand. As a result of which, when the ligand approaches, the energy will be what? The energy will be slightly raised because of this repulsion. This is known as average energy of d orbital in a crystal field, in a spherical crystal field. Now, when the energy loses, we said that what happens when the ligand approaches the metal? The metal, we have already said the metal what? The metal loses its degeneracy, and thus it will be split into two. The first one is dxy, dyz and dzx, and the second one is dx square, y square and dz square. Now these degenerate orbitals have now become what? They have now become non-degenerate. That is, now they are not having the same energy. This one, these three are having a same energy. That is, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, threefold, and we call it as triply degenerate. And in this case, 2 are there and we call it as doubly degenerate. So out of 5, now due to the approach of the ligand, the 5 d orbitals have lost their degeneracy and they have split into 2. What are they? Triply degenerate and doubly degenerate. Now why we are representing such a case where the dx square, y square and dz square is having an higher energy? Because you can see here, we have already said these two lobes, dx square, y square and dz square, are lying along the axis. So when the ligand approaches the metal along the axis, the repulsion between these two, dx square, y square and dz square, are greater than that of the remaining three. What are the remaining three? This one. So these one experience what? Greater repulsion from the ligand compared to which one? Compared to these three, and thus it raises his energy. So this one is known as what? This one is known as Eg, and the lower one is known as T2G. Now you can see here, this is the degenerate d orbital, and we have already discussed it splits into two. What are that? Eg and T2G. Now the difference of energy between these two sets of orbitals, between the T2G and Eg, is known as what? CFC. What is this CFC? It is crystal field stabilization energy. So crystal field stabilization energy represents the difference of energy between the two sets of orbital. So for the Eg level, we can say that since this is for an octahedral complex, we will be representing it by delta O. The octahedral complexes are represented by what? Delta O. So in the case of Eg orbital, the energy will be 3 by 5 delta O, or we can say it as, this one is plus 3 by 5. Why we are writing plus? Because it is raised in energy, or we can also represent it as 0.6 delta O. This is for what? This is for the Eg orbital. Now for the T2G orbital, we are representing it as minus 2 by 5 delta O, or it can be represented as 0.4 delta O. This one is for T2G, and this one is for what? This one is our for Eg. And what is that? It represents the crystal field stabilization energy. Now, when the ligands with small delta 0 value is there, it represents what? It represents a weak field. Whereas ligands with larger delta 0 value represents a what? It represents a strong field. Now, similarly, in the case of tetrahedral complex, you can see that the splitting we have reversed it. What is that? This is for a tetrahedral complex. This is degenerate d orbitals for a metal atom or ion. Now in this case, you can see that the higher energy is what? The T2 level is having a higher energy. The T2 level is having a higher energy, where the lower energy is that of E orbital. Why in this case such a change is there? Because you can see that in the case of a tetrahedral complex, what will be there? The ligands will be approaching along the axis. In the case of octahedral complex, in this case the ligands will be approaching in between the axis. The case of a tetrahedral complex, the ligands will be approaching in between the axis, whereas in case of an octahedral complex, the ligands were approaching along the axis. So here, since the ligands were approaching in between the axis, we have seen that the lobes lying in between the axis are what? These three, and thus they will be raised in energy. Now here, how we are representing? In the case of octahedral complex, we were representing it as triply degenerate. This one stands for gerate, T2G and Eg, whereas in the case of tetrahedral complex, we will be representing it as what? We will be representing it as E and T2. Now in this case, we can represent the value as 2 by 5 plus 2 by 5 delta T, or it is 0.4 delta T. Whereas in the case of E orbital, it will be minus 3 by 5 delta T, or it will be minus what? 0.6 delta T. So this one is for tetrahedral complex, whereas the first one is for octahedral complex, where we are representing it as T2G each, and the energy is represented like this, whereas in the case of tetrahedral complex, we have reversed it. Instead of T2G and EG, we are representing it as what? We are representing it as E and T2. Hope these things are clear. Thank you.